Yo, yo, yo. Back in action, bro. Um, yeah. It's funny. It's a funny thing. It's a wiggly wiggly world. That's what they tell me. And it's true. So if you watch my last video, basically, yeah, the girl I was talking to was just like, yeah, I don't really want to do like I don't want to pursue a relationship with you and stuff like that, and all of that, and that was really hard. And long story short, I talked to her today, and unexpectedly got to a point in the conversation towards the end, after we talked about things, like talk about a lot of things, all the things, lots of things, and I was basically like, what do you think about just praying about it, like, how about we just pray about this, right? how about how about we pray about this and see, like, let's just double check, right? Like, let's just double check. How about that? Let's just pray and see what we find out. Let's like, pray for a couple days. We'll reconvene in a couple days, basically. But let's pray about this. I was transparent with her about how I felt and what I thought, what I was thinking, what I was hoping, my game plan, so to speak, with her, where I stood, all those kinds of things. And she was basically like, yes, I have stuff I'm working on, and I don't know if I'm ready for a relationship and all that. And I was like, okay, talk through that. But she was like, the big hang up is the distance. And I don't know if there's more. There might be more. She told me that it was just the distance. If there was more, she didn't tell me about it. She did tell me that if she lived in my state, she would definitely date me. And so I was like, all right, let's go. That's a win. But anyway, I asked her if we could like just take some time to pray about it and touch base in a couple days, right? And she's like, okay, so Sunday. And I was like, whoa, 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 Denise, like slow your roll. Like, Sunday? Like, I ain't talking about a certain date here. No, I was basically like, yeah, instead of like putting a certain date on it, let's just feel it out, right? Let's just follow the spirit and give it a couple days. At first she's like, do you want to give it a week? And I was like, a week? Like, what? A week? And I was like, well, we could give it a week, but I was thinking sooner, like a couple days. And she's like, yeah, I was just tossing that out as an idea, like a week as an idea. And so anyway, I don't know. It's tough. Obviously, I'm hoping for the best, and I'm gonna get the best, because regardless of it being a yes from her or a yes, if we both feel that this is the right thing to do, this is the right thing to pursue, and things like that, then we're just gonna go ahead with that. But if we don't get that answer, or we get the answer to the contrary, then that's it. Then that's gonna be it, and that's gonna just be the way that it is, and that's really hard. But if that's the way it needs to be, then that's the way it needs to be. So anyway, I'm pretty proud of myself I'm actually really proud of myself. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really proud of myself because I handled all this really well. I didn't go like kicking or screaming and be like, no, no, you know. I was just like, well, what do you think about praying about it, you know? And she was like, okay. So I'm really thankful for that. And I did talk to her a little bit. I did tell her some things. It was transparent talked about the distance and everything like that. Told her about what I was thinking and all of that. And it's very easy for people to be very cut and dry sometimes, you know? It's really easy for people to be cut and dry. And I just think that sometimes people need to give things a little bit more thought. Right? Like, don't just jump to a conclusion and think that, like, oh, this is a terrible idea. Like, this is a mistake. No, don't do that. Work with me here, you know? Like, talk about it. Talk to me about it. Like, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And so I told her what I thought about her. I told her that I thought that she was worth it. There's a part of me that feels like she doesn't necessarily hear me all the way through. Or she hears me, but then, you know, she's got her own thoughts. And so, you ever talk to someone and they're like, yeah. And you're like, are you somewhere else with me right now? Or are you listening to me, you know? I don't know. But we'll see. It's interesting. I feel like celebrating, but I also feel like crying. No. I also feel like, oh man, like, this is gonna be hard. Or something like that. It's just hard. You know? It's so tricky. Life is tricky. She did say that she knows there's someone out there for me, probably lots of them. I was like, yeah, I appreciate that, you know. I want you though, don't you see? But no, it was pretty funny. I don't know. Keep me in your prayers, you guys. I'm trying to find that special someone, right? And I got somebody special here. I got somebody special on the line. But we've got 6 hours of road between us. So and she has had a long distance relationship before. And to her, long distance is much shorter than it is to me. So for her, this is a super long distance. And I told her about, like, you know, maybe giving it some time, seeing where we're at, and then suggesting meeting up, maybe meeting halfway or something like that, or me coming 3/4 of the way or something like that. And she was like, oh no, you know, I could never do that. Like, I could never let you drive that far, you know? And so part of her is just like, you know, I couldn't let you do that. But I don't think she understands that it would be my pleasure. And I don't know. So we'll see. We're definitely going to pray about it. I've already started praying about it, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good in that it doesn't necessarily look like we're going to get a redo or like a hey, let's give it a shot, you know? We've only talked for like a week and a half, really. But I don't know. I fall for people quickly. And I see a lot in her. I see a lot of value in her. A lot of... Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because a lot of the things I see in her could be things I've been like looking into her. Like it's hard to explain. Like sometimes you see so much in someone, and maybe it was never there. Maybe you just envisioned it. Maybe you just imagined it in them. You know, it's tricky. But I'll let this guy in, Mr. Frontier. I don't like the way you came up in here, though. But I ain't letting that guy coming up in, because he's way too gung-ho. He needs to relax. He thinks he's coming past all of us. What? Now he's going to try to get behind me. Okay. That's fine. You can get behind me, bro. That's about as far as you get. As far as you're getting, bro. But yeah, you know. So here I am. This is me. This is what's going on. Another day in the life. Good old day in the life. Good old day in the good old life. People definitely have it harder than I do. That's for sure. I don't know. I'm just excited. Like, I just want to talk to her and be like, yo, like, you know. We would be such a match, I think. I think we would be such a match if only we could just like talk to each other and like get along. I mean, you know, if we could just see past the distance, you know. And I do know and believe that yes, God does in fact indeed have someone for me. 100%. Meaning there is definitely someone out there for me. More than one probably. Yeah. But it's hard, you know? It's real hard trying to figure this out. I'm just going to say though, like, I'm really glad that we decided to pray about it. Like, I'm really glad. Because the way I feel is, yo, this is really cool. We should not let the first challenge we have keep us from this. Like, this is really cool, you know? And so, let's give this a shot, right? Let's give this a shot as in, let's keep going. Let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see how it goes, you know? Let's see how it goes. Let's give it a shot. I'm not saying, you know, let's give marrying me a shot. I'm talking about like, let's give talking and perhaps dating a shot. Let's give it a shot, you know? So, where are my bros at? Where are my friends at? Where are my sisters at? Let me know. Tell me your thoughts, alright? Let me know what you're thinking here. Let me lay it out again real quick. I like this girl a lot. I like her a lot. I could not like her at all. I could choose that and just be like, alright, well, you know, time to move on. And I'm very sad, but I'll be alright. She's super cute. She's super funny. She's smart. She's independent. She's driven. She's laid back. She's got a great sense of humor. She's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She could be a little bit more involved. She could be a little bit more spiritual. But she's way down to earth. And she's got a sweet voice. I love the way her voice sounds. I love her hilarity, her comedy. And yeah, those kinds of things, right? But she lives in North Carolina and I live in Maryland. And that's like a 380-mile drive. And she was talking about how far away 97 miles is when she had to update her settings on Mutual to 97 miles. And I was like, 97 miles? I've expanded my search for nationwide, worldwide even, just to see what it looked like. But yeah, no, mine has been on like a couple hundred miles basically for a while. But the way I am, if you ask me, it's like, here's what's my take on it. My take is let's do it. Let's do it. Let's give this a shot. Let's do it. Let's try, right? Let's try. Let's enjoy the moment. Let's figure this out. Let's have fun, right? Let's have fun. And yeah, let's see how it goes. She had a long distance relationship of like 3 hours and it didn't work out, and dude was trying to marry her, and that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do, but I just feel like that wasn't very fair. That situation wasn't very good. And she thought about moving closer to him and stuff like that, and just wasn't going to do it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we'll see how this all goes. We'll see how this all unfolds. I have a feeling I know how it's going to unfold. I think it's going to not work, but you got to try. And my really good friend made a really good point to me, because I was just talking with her, talking lightly about the situation. This was like a week ago, maybe less, a little less than a week, and I was like, I'm afraid of getting my heart broken. I'm afraid of opening up and getting my heart broken. And she said, yeah, but sometimes you've got to be willing to get your heart broken in order to find true love, basically. And I was like, bro, that's the realest advice I ever got. That's that good advice, you know? That's that advice that you want, you know? And I was like, oh, snap. Now, does that mean that you got to go around and get your heart broken all the time in order to find true love? No, absolutely not. Does that mean you should sign up for getting your heart broken in order to find true love? No, absolutely not. Does it mean you need to try in order to find true love? Absolutely. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm putting it all out there. I've laid it all out on the table. I've told her up and down. I've told her things in a way that respect her situation and her stance. My phone's all slipping and sliding. Because at the same time, I don't want to disrespect her. Because I respect her feelings and her thoughts, her beliefs and her originality. I respect all those things. So with that said, I definitely want her to be happy, and I want things to be easy for her. She deserves that. She deserves love, joy, success, and happiness. And so do I. And I don't need to go through a meat grinder in order to find true love. And neither does she. So why don't we just make this easy here, right? Why don't we just make this easy and let go, right? Well, the reason why is because maybe this is what we both want. And maybe in order to have what we want, maybe we need to get through a couple things, right? Maybe we just need to get through. Maybe this is our hurdle. Maybe this is our, I don't want to say obstacle course, but maybe this is the course. Maybe this is our course. Maybe this is the course we need to take, right? Like, it's going to definitely take work, time, thought, resources, things like that. But I do know that if it's the right person, they're worth working for. Yep. And I know that you can't give up. You know? You gotta stay in there, right? You gotta stay strong. Sometimes, and I don't like to say this because it might be true. It's true universally, but sometimes you gotta face the music. And that's not easy. But for all intents and purposes, kind of have faced the music in a lot of ways. I have all but accepted the music. I actually have accepted it. I've accepted it. However, I felt like, you know what though? Why don't we just pray? Why don't we just pray to God to find out? Why don't we just pray to find out, right? I mean, you can come to your own decisions about things, and that's fine. That's what life is, right? You make decisions, you make choices, you make decisions. It's called acting, using your agency. And I'm sure she's prayed about it. Maybe she hasn't. Maybe she hasn't even prayed about it. I bet she probably has. But maybe she hasn't. And maybe, just maybe, something will happen. Maybe she'll realize, like, oh shoot, I kind of feel something here. Like, I don't know what it is, but maybe I shouldn't give up. Maybe I shouldn't stop, you know? I've been here so many times before, or I've been in his shoes so many times before, but maybe there's something going on here. Maybe there's a divine conspiracy. Maybe I should stop and smell the cornflakes. Maybe I should wake up. Maybe I should smell the roses. Maybe what? Maybe I need to give this some thought. Maybe I need to give this some more reconsideration. Maybe I should give this a second chance. Maybe I should think about this. Maybe this is something special. Maybe this has the promise of something special. It's very interesting. So we're gonna see. We'll see. That's all we can do. Just wait and see. Pray and wait and see. Right? But I tell you what, I'm going to be putting my best foot forward. Because not that I think all my hope depends on this girl, because it definitely doesn't. My hope is in Jesus Christ. And I know that there is someone there for me in this world. I know there's probably more than one person in this world for me. Legit. Oh yeah, I know there's definitely more than one person in this world for me. But, you know, I just gotta keep my feet on the ground. One day at a time. Not get too crazy. But I feel very free. I feel very free. Compared to, like, yesterday. I felt a lot of heartbreak coming on yesterday. I felt it before I got here. I prayed and kind of cried, I guess. And after it all calmed down and I had a feeling of peace, I was sitting down, I was at church, I was sitting in the office, and I had a feeling of peace and I started feeling better. And then she messaged me. Right there in that feeling, right? And I was like, that's really cool. And she was like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? You know? And yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. This is a hard video to end. Because I feel like as soon as I stop talking about it, it's all going to fall apart. Oh no. But anyway, thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for being my friend. And thanks for praying for me as well. Definitely bigger, more important things in this world. But if it's important to us, it's very important to God. And I know that. And I know how much He loves us. I know some of how much He loves us. Because He loves us that much. But anyway, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.